guess the soul is more important than your body.
The soul is more important.
The soul is more important.
My eyes is all about the soul.
The soul is who we are and like how we feel and how we act and what we think. But our body is just our vessel.
The soul is more important. Your body is just your body here. Your soul goes to heaven.
There was a time when I fell into the trap thinking the body was more important than the soul. But now I've gone through like a change, I guess, and I think the soul is more important.
The soul is really important.
The soul is always keep you feeling good on the inside.
The soul is who you truly are.
Soul, what makes a person individual.
I believe that you should put your soul first and not allow your greed and lust to come first.
You just gotta look inside of people. It's not what's on the outside, it's on the inside that counts.
I've fallen into a place where the body is more important because when you're a girl, you want everything to be perfect and you want to have your nails done, your hair.
And sometimes I do think body is more important than the soul, but at the end of the day, it's really the soul.
Appearances don't last forever, but your soul does. So.
Sometimes it seems that our society is only obsessed with looks, shapes, diets, and exercise.
And when it comes to our faith, there doesn't seem to be any urgency to exercise it or keep it in shape.
But our body and soul are connected in a very real and special way, and both need attention and effort to keep them fit.
Most of us do know how to keep our bodies fit, but what about our souls?
What can we do to maintain our spiritual fitness?
Exercising your faith. That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Carolee.
And I'm Justin.
And this is Realfaith TV. Our spotlight guest today is Rachel, an RFTV cast member.
She'll share how she finds balance in regularly exercising both her body and soul.
We'll talk to her in a few minutes, as well as meet our studio guests.
But first, let's go back to the teens in the street where we ask them what they do to exercise their spiritual muscles.
Let's check it out.
What do you do to exercise your soul or exercise your spiritual muscles?
I give people hugs.
I do meditate and karate.
I like to read. So I read a lot.
I like to just go out and think about stuff and alone by myself.
Relax and think about the good stuff.
Listen to music. Turn my lights off, light some candles, and just listen to some music and just think about life.
I usually just dance through the stress.
I just do good in life, I do good things for people.
I pray.
Sit alone and pray.
Exercise my soul by praying.
Pray as much as possible.
I always have religious talks with my father because he's very religious, and I learn a lot.
To exercise my soul, I volunteer a lot, and I'm going on a mission trip, and I'm always at church every Sunday.
Do you think we need to exercise our faith just like we need to exercise our body to keep it in shape?
Yeah, because if you stop for a little bit, just like with exercising, you will get out of shape with your faith.
I believe faith is important and that you need to exercise it, yeah, because it's always good to know that there's something there that you can rely on.
You probably do have to exercise your faith the way you exercise your body, but I wouldn't know exactly what to do.
You should learn about God, pray, read the Bible.
Going to church.
You can go to church, pray in the morning.
Go to church every Sunday.
Try going to a church, chill with some religious people.
Going to church.
Keep believing, go to church.
Read the Bible, go to church.
Just go through the Bible and just sit down and just read through the chapters.
Just by praying, going to Mass every Sunday, going to confession as much as possible.
Read the Bible.
Pray.
Stuff that has to do with charity, help others.
Help other people.
Get involved with the community.
Reading the Bible, going to church, taking lessons, asking a lot of questions, and understanding, having faith.
A lot of them said that they exercise their faith by going to church, but personally, I don't think it's enough to just go to church. I think you have to volunteer in maybe a youth group or altar serve or something like that, something that's more than just going to church every Sunday.
I agree. Well, let's see what our studio guests have to say about this topic.
Okay, they are Lauren, Ricky, Tiffany, Vanessa, Caitlin, Abe, and Felicity.
So what about you guys? Are you pretty fit in the body and soul?
I'm pretty fit. Well, I could do better, as everyone can. I think it's more of a spiritual thing with me. I try to look deeper inside myself. I try to, be one with God, and I try to help others do that.
I'd have to say no for both. I mean, I don't pray as often as I think I should. I do go to Mass every Sunday, but as Carolee said, it's not enough to just go. I mean, maybe if you can altar serve or something to that effect, you still try to at least participate. I try to do that, but I don't feel like I pray as much as I should. And body-wise, I haven't worked out in a year, so yeah, I lost it there.
I think I'm pretty fit, I guess. I mean, you know, definitely it could always be more. But I think, like, I really try to keep up my faith consistently. Like, I'm involved in a youth group at my church, and I like to do volunteering. I try to pray very often, like, before I go to sleep. I think that that's really good for me, too. And I've also found, like, going on retreats when you've been away from, you know, really being energized for a while, it gets you really pumped about your faith.
Reading the Bible helps me because you're reading about the different things that Jesus went to, and strengthening my body. I play basketball outside, and I think that really helps me.
I play basketball, so I've been going to the gym more and more to get ready for the upcoming season. So I think I've been exercising my body more than I've been exercising my faith, because whenever something's coming up, I feel like I sort of put my faith on the back burner, like it's not the #1 thing.
I personally do both, because like I go to the gym and I exercise, and I'm praying as I'm at the gym, like in my head, and like talking to God and stuff, so.
I love riding my bike and I love dancing, and I sing in my church like all the time, and I learn my faith when I'm spreading the word of God through music, and I'm exercising when I'm riding my bike and dancing, and I just think it's a really good balance of each.
The Catechism of the Catholic Church states,
"The unity of soul and body is so profound that one has to consider the soul to be the form of the body.
This means that both body and soul are important aspects of who we are.
They are both good and holy because both are made in God's image and likeness."
Let's meet our spotlight guest, Rachel. Well, she'll share the importance of keeping both body and soul in shape through exercising our faith.
Let's hear it now.
I think we do need to exercise our faith as we exercise our body. Exercising our body is important. We know that if we want to live a long, healthy life, we need to exercise every day. And you need to exercise your faith every day if you want to live a happy, long Christian life. Because if you don't start exercising your faith every day, it's going to gradually weaken as muscle if you don't exercise your muscles every day. So I think that faith is something that you should practice every day as you practice a sport every day. Personally, I probably exercise them both equally, but I think that I should try to exercise my faith a little more. Exercising your faith is more important than exercising your body. No matter what, that's something that anyone can do. I'm a swimmer, so I swim every day in the summer. But I try to exercise my faith every day by praying, and of course I go to church on Sunday and I try to get involved in different ways. I like to pray a lot. Youth group is a very cool way. Just getting together with your friends, reading the Bible groups. There's many different ways to exercise your faith.
Why is exercising your faith important to you, and how do you guys keep it in shape?
It's important to me because it brings me closer to God. I know that I just can't think of the skin as everything. I have to think of the soul, even more so of the skin, like it says in the Catechism, like as its own structure. If I take care of myself, and if I nourish myself in His will, it will bring me closer to Him, and I will be able to be one in the body and in the spirit.
Appearances, people make a big deal out of them, but they don't last forever. And the soul, you know, people kind of tend to ignore it more, but that's the thing that's going to last forever. So that's sort of the thing that we should invest the most in.
I think it's important to practice my faith because it's something just like with physical exercise that if you're away from it for a while, if you've gone a while without praying, then you might not really feel like doing it anymore. So I think it's important to keep it up consistently so then you really like have that desire and that drive in you to do it.
Matthew Kelly, a Catholic author, once wrote,
"Wouldn't it be nice if our souls growled when they were hungry, just like our bodies do?
When we are confused, lonely, discouraged, fearful, anxious, then our soul is growling.
These are moments to stop and find some quiet time and pray.
Maybe you pray by reading a few Bible passages, and maybe you just sit quietly and let your mind sort through things.
Maybe you listen to Christian music.
Another way to exercise your faith is through participating in the sacraments.
Sunday and daily Mass and confession are great ways to give your soul the attention it needs.
If we're unsure of what to do, we can always look to those individuals who are models of faith for us.
They may be our parents, friends, teachers, or even coworkers.
Next, we ask the teens on the street, who are the people in their lives who exercise their faith regularly?
Let's hear from them now.
My mom exercises her faith every day. She goes to church faithfully every day.
My stepmother, because like almost every Sunday she goes to church.
My father. He's always praying.
My rabbi, I guess. He exercises his faith every day.
My great uncle, he was actually a priest.
My aunt exercises her faith every day. She goes to church every day.
My grandfather.
My grandma does.
I know my grandmother used to. Before she passed away, she would say the rosary every night before she'd go to sleep.
My grandmother. She's a really, really strong believer.
My grandma goes to church and she teaches other people about the Bible.
My grandma, She goes to church almost every day. She always has God in her heart.
My grandma, because she got me into going to church and all that and helping me teach little kids about God.
My grandmother. She wakes up about 4 o'clock in the morning to watch church on TV.
My grandmother, she's always looking at the good things, never negative.
My friends. One of my good friends, he does a lot of charity and works at the church a lot.
My cousin's grandmother, her husband died, and then she always attends church and is just really comfortable with her religion. I think that's cool.
What can we learn from those who exercise their faith every day?
We can learn that there are many more ways to reach God and exercise your faith.
My uncle, I don't even know how old he is now, and he exercises his faith every day. And just being that old and still being able to do it every day, it makes me realize that almost everybody can do it, and it's not that hard. If you really believe in God, you will exercise your faith.
My uncle, he's gone through a few hard times, but he still continues with his faith and exercises it every day, and even more so. Many people can turn away from their faith by going through struggles or hardships, but he's only growing stronger. So I really admire that about him.
Yeah, I think something I learned is patience, because especially with like prayer life and everything, if my prayers aren't answered, sometimes I get a little anxious or I get impatient, and you know, I seek results like right away. And just like exercise too, if I'm exercising and I'm not getting the results I want, like building the muscle I want, or you know, trying to tone the way I want to, I get frustrated.
I feel like my grandmom is very strong in her faith because she goes to church like every Saturday night, and she like prays before she goes to bed, and she's the kind of person that's always like looking on the bright side of things.
I definitely know from my grandparents, I learned that faith takes dedication and a lot of sacrifice at some points. They both will go to their room at a point in the day and pray the rosary together at my church, like where they have like masses for sick people, and they go and people pray over each other. You know, it's like a healing mass. My grandmother, she has Parkinson's, and the fact that she stands there for hours like praying over people, and she can barely stand herself like for a very long time. It's such a strong practice of someone's faith.
My older brother is one of my role models, whether it's spiritual or physical, because he just has the greatest advice about pretty much anything. He knows what to say. Like sometimes my prayers don't get answers, and he told me that, you know, that's okay. Sometimes they might not be answered for a while, but eventually it will come around.
I draw a lot of inspiration from like leaders of different youth groups that I've been in, or people from my church that I know, just like the dedication that they put forth to like running our youth groups. And like it feels like sometimes they just know like the right thing to say, the right perspective or the right angle to like really make you look at something the right way and make me feel like I'm growing and learning more about my faith.
Care for our bodies is an important aspect of being a Christian today, because it shows that we respect how God created us.
Our bodies need the proper amount of sleep, exercise, and nutritious food.
A good amount of exercise will also increase your energy levels for the day and even help you feel better emotionally. It is also a good Christian witness to live a balanced physical life so you can radiate God's beauty in you to the world.
Next, Rachel discusses the similarities between physical exercising for a sport and exercising her faith.
And shares with us ways she strengthens her own spiritual muscles.
Well, I swim, and I practice every morning for an hour. We do drills, we perfect our strokes, and then we work on getting faster and getting stronger. Before I have a race, I usually get really nervous, so usually right before I jump in the pool, I say a quick prayer to God. I don't say a prayer to say, God, please make me win or something like that. I just say, God, just help me to do my best. That's all I can ask of you. Help me to apply everything that I've done in practice and help me to use it right now and to be my best. And if that's better than the rest of the people, that's great. If it's not, that's all I could ask for. Faith and exercise have the same kind of patterns. You practice both and then you live out both, and you have to keep practicing if you want to get somewhere with both of them. You should always practice your sport in order to get good at it. How you practice your faith, first learn the faith, and then you should live the faith. You should be a representation of who Jesus was. You should be kind to people, you should be forgiving. You should practice your technique. That's praying, going to church and stuff. Then you should focus on really getting stronger, which is the retreats, confession, the sacraments, and that's really the hardcore ways to get in touch with your faith.
What kind of commitments do you make to exercise your faith?
I altar serve, and that's like a really big commitment, you know, helping out in the Mass. It's really a cool thing. It really nourishes your soul.
I sing with my church, and I try to make it like a very high priority to make the practices and to make the Masses. Even when I have something else scheduled, I had a marching band game day. I didn't go to the game because I put my faith first. I put my church first. It was big, but I did it.
I don't play a sport, but I play piano. Before I have to perform, like, I always ask God to help me do my best, you know, like that, you know, what I can do out there when I'm performing can be a reflection of, you know, the work that I've put into it and the talent that God's given me, and use that to give something back to Him for what He gave to me.
One of the commitments I make when it comes to practicing my faith is to be grateful for the things that we have and remember to thank Him. Something good happens to me or something good comes my way, I'll think about it, pray to God, giving Him thanks for the good things that He's given me.
Just like Lauren, I sing in my church choir, and I just love praising God. I really love singing up there every Sunday.
Exercising our faith does require commitment on our part.
At times it will seem we don't have time to invest in this area. But just like with physical exercise, which is challenging at first,
over time you will develop a routine and habit for your spiritual life.
You will find that leading a balanced life spiritually will empower you to live a balanced life physically.
Precisely because our bodies and souls are so connected.
Let's go back to our spotlight guest, Rachel. Well, she'll talk to us about how forming faith muscles requires time and hard work.
And discusses some of the people who have inspired her both in her athletics and her faith life.
When you think of a muscle, you think of something that you build up over time, and I think faith is something that's constantly building. Whether you're 8 or you're 80, you constantly are building your faith. Well, I pray every night before I go to bed. I just like thanking God for all that He's given me, and I ask for protection and to give me guidance, and if I'm ever having trouble, I'll just specifically focus on that when I pray. We have youth group every other Sunday at my church, and I love attending that. I love working with people my own age and praying together. Sometimes we just do fun stuff, like we watch a movie, just hanging out, and it's kind of cool because we're all practicing our faith together. Going to church is definitely a big one to build your muscle. Every Sunday, every week, you just have an hour every day where you rebuild, you kind of recharge, and I think retreating is also a great way to build faith muscles because it's just, it could be a weekend, it could be a day, a few hours where you just focus strictly on God and Jesus. It's not necessarily hours and hours of church, it's hours of music and praying together and just peace, and I feel like that's a major way to recharge and to really build your faith muscles. My coach inspires me to build my real muscles. I happen to have a great coach and who's really motivating, and I happen to have really good priests too, which is very fortunate. He kind of guides me and he guides all the children in our parish. He really strives to connect with us and to tell us that, okay, we've given you this education, you've gotten your confirmation, now go live it. Like, nothing's stopping you. It's your responsibility now to bring people to the church, to live out your faith. Leadership is definitely a big thing for faith and for sports. As in having a good coach, if you have a good leader in your church, you'll be able to go places that you've never been able to go before.
What are some concrete steps we can take to bring a balance of body and soul into our lives?
Prayer is one of them, and also just trying to regularly attend church, because at church you can be there with God, you can experience the Eucharist, you can be a part of Christ with a group of people who are there to support you also. We
could definitely train not so much our bodies, but our minds while we're praying is actually practicing something called mindfulness. It's sort of a form of meditation. It means to focus on what it is that you're saying, what the prayer means. That's definitely an effective way to meditate, relax the mind, relax the body, and to strengthen the soul at the same time.
I think we could start with little things. Like, if we're not totally strong in our faith life yet, we could start by saying Our Father before we go to bed or something. As we get comfortable with that, we can move on to bigger things. It's just like if you were physically exercising, you wouldn't go and run a marathon your first day in the gym. You would, build up your muscles so you'd be able to do that.
And also what she said with the church. I really feel that that's how I was brought closer to God, with the music in our church, and it really just moved me, being there, watching Jesus present right in front of me, and it really, strengthens your faith muscles and, makes you who you are as a person.
A concrete way to exercise your faith is in relation to other people, watch the way that you act and don't talk about other people, and it can really damage the way that other people think about themselves. And if you want to really show that you're a Catholic or a Christian or whatever you believe, that you value good morals, that you will respect other people and take risks, even if that's just like, you know, talking to someone who doesn't have a lot of friends or anything like that.
Sometimes I pray to God, like if I'm having a bad day or something's like wrong in my life, but I also like to pray to God like for the good things. Like if I have something good in my life that happened, I like to pray to God about that.
As Catholics, we should like take care of ourselves, our bodies, and our mind, and the way we act, and we should respect other people.
As you implement these and other ideas you come up with for exercising faith,
You will grow stronger in your relationship with God and be a witness for others.
St. Paul uses the metaphor of running the race in his first letter to the Corinthians to encourage us to have discipline in every way.
While it's easy to experience the rewards of physical activity through health and wellness,
have we ever benefited directly from toning our spirituality?
Are there noticeable benefits of feeding our souls and building our faith muscles?
That's what we asked the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
I think just feeling better about yourself. Like you just feel good, you feel refreshed.
Satisfaction with yourself.
Feel better about yourself. Maybe more awake, alert, alive.
You feel good on the inside.
You feel good about yourself, and then in return you make others feel good about themselves.
Inner peace with ourselves.
Being more confident and comfortable.
Understand God more.
And feel in tune with myself. If I'm in tune with God, then I'm in tune with everything around me.
How can prayer help us to build our faith muscles?
I think it depends on what you pray for. If you pray for strength, it can help you overcome a weakness that you have.
It helps you understand God more.
It just gets you deeper into God.
It's like your body going to the gym every day. The more you pray, the better your faith will be.
It keeps you on the right path, and it makes you, it reminds you every day that God is there for you.
So you're going to feel more assured.
It gives you more time to think things clearly, because if you're distracted by running around doing your daily life things and not actually taking time to show love to God and your religion, how do you know what you're really here for?
Finally, Rachel shares with us how prayer has been helpful in her faith journey.
And how joining a Catholic sport team has helped her to find the perfect balance between physical and spiritual exercise.
Prayer has definitely helped me a lot. When I pray, I have a conversation with God. It helps me stay grounded. When I pray, I ask for the strength to get through whatever situation I'm going through. It really just helps me feel stronger, and it helps me get through difficult situations. I joined my church team for the sport, and I found it really fun because I was so used to being on a team that was their motivation was winning and getting first and win, win, win. And when I joined this Catholic team, the motivation was fun, and I like having fun, and a sport should be fun. Before a game, we would all kind of get in a circle and say the Hail Mary or say an Our Father and just ask God to have a safe game, which is very important because sports get very physical. So we always prayed for no injury and just to have a good game.
I think prayer is the most basic form of exercise when it comes to faith, because it's just, like talking with God, building a relationship with Him, and, spending time with Him. And that's at the foundation of everyone's faith. I mean, if you don't have a relationship with God, you can't experience faith or grace or the things that you can acquire through building a relationship with Him.
It doesn't have to be like a scripted prayer like the Our Father or Hail Mary or praying the Rosary. It can be just a simple prayer, or I like to follow this guideline, PAL. It's praise, ask, listen. It's the way I talk to God.
There are so many different ways to pray, and even though there are those prayers written by the church, and some of them are such beautiful prayers, I think the most important thing is to find what works for you. So like if you really like the feeling of saying a prayer like saying Our Fathers and Hail Marys or praying the Rosary, then you should do that. Or maybe, if you're going to just say it and it's just going to be empty words and you're not going to mean it, then just talk to God about what you feel. Speak in your own way to Him, and just, trust that any way you pray, if you mean it sincerely, that is how God is going to hear you.
Yeah, I agree with what Abe and Caitlin were saying about prayer. Like, it's like having a conversation with God, and if you want to have a relationship with anybody, the first thing you got to do is talk to them. It's also like exercise, like you have to start somewhere. And prayer is the most basic type of exercise for your faith, just as like walking on a treadmill would be the most basic type of exercise for your body.
There are all sorts of perks toward living a balanced life that exercises both the body and the soul.
Our bodies and souls were meant to function in unity with each other. And this means that if we invest time in both the physical and spiritual parts of our lives,
we will have balance, improved health and emotions, a deeper relationship with God, and ultimately, peace.
Peace doesn't mean our life is perfect and we never struggle.
Peace is having trust in God even in the struggles throughout our lives.
So let's aim to lead balanced lives of faith, academics, exercise, rest, and good eating.
So we're authentic witnesses of Christianity in our world today.
So are you giving your faith muscles a workout?
We'd love to hear from you.
Contact us at RealfaithTV.com.
Or share your thoughts with us on Twitter.
And we'll leave you today with this prayer as we join hands.
Dear God, thank you for creating me in your image and likeness.
Thank you for sending your Son into the world to take on human nature and redeem it for your glory.
Guide me to make steps to feed my soul with your word and sacraments.
Help me carve out the time to be quiet and listen to your voice.
Guide me to glorify you with my body through actions that are healthy and balanced.
Help me to keep my body pure and holy as a temple for your Holy Spirit.
Use me as a light to those around me to show your presence in this world.
We all ask this through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Amen. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV.
God bless.